Another trending topic that happened last week was Francis Uzoho. Now, I don't know if you saw that game against Manchester United. I mean, he got the whole world talking. It was trending, number one. His followership on Twitter, I think it doubled after that game against Manchester United.
From 14,000 to 28,000 in 24 hours.
That tells you how massive it was for Uzoho. For a goalkeeper who's not been first choice, he played that game due to the injured goalkeeper, the first choice goalkeeper who was injured, and Francis Uzoho get to start that game. And at some point, he was even not the second choice; he was the third choice goalkeeper. And I mean, it's just sad to see that you're Super Eagles goalkeeper. You go to your club in Cyprus, and you're not just the first choice; you're not second choice. At some point, you're a third choice. But I mean, that he needed that moment, Francis Uzoho. This is a player who was in tears in the dressing room in Abuja when the Super Eagles got knocked out of the World Cup. I mean, the critics were so massive. I mean, we also his position in that goal Thomas Partey scored in the World Cup. So he needed that moment of joy. He after the game, the fanfare, the picture with David De Gea, a goalkeeper he idolized. Playing with Ronaldo, bringing back memories of Yamal with Messi as well. In that game, he made 12 saves. 9 of those saves were inside the box. He practically denied Manchester United until they eventually got that goal later on in the game. Now, how big of a boost was this performance from Francis Uzoho, looking at what he's been through since that World Cup debacle against Ghana?
So social media have announced it already, and Francis Uzoho reminds me of Wilfred Agbonibare. And I've always said, even when the game was going on and people, so let's start with the lead up to the game. Uzoho did something that not everybody does all the time. Uzoho is a Manchester United fan, like Chudo Delegado. It's a diehard Manchester United. So leading up to that game, he started a conversation on Twitter that he hoped that he gets to start in this game. And somebody chime in and say, if you start, they go pour for your body woto. And then I don't know if the tweets are still there, but I mean, I saw that thread. I even joined in on the conversation, and I said, go there and prove yourself. But then I know the Uzoho that I have followed will still find a way to concede one goal. And I think he was like, Baba, just wish me well, Sha. I go try my best. If I start that game, they go no say they play against somebody. And then the tweet was going on, and then I think at some point again somebody said, you never even did sure, because it was both pidgin English and English, but I still remember this thing in my head.
And you also tweeted that if he's going to be in goal, like he's going to die, jokingly that he's going to die in the opposite.
Like, you never even did sure, so you go start. Then he now responded to that with what you just said, that if I'm going to be in goal, I will give my all. No go Man United on this one. That it was sweet. So he already set the tone. Then it was announced that he was going to be the number one goal. He was going to be in goal for the game. And he lived up to the hype. Okay, so there are two ways to go about this. Is he going to be Javier Portillo? And there is a player that played for Real Madrid who goes by the name Javier Portillo. I think it was in 1997 when Real Madrid needed a draw to qualify from the group stage, and they were playing against Le Mans Borussia Dortmund, if I'm not mistaken. And they did everything. They were down by goal. He came in. I think he came in for Raul very, very late in the game, and he hit that shot that just go between the finger of the goalkeeper and the goalpost, and he went in. But he didn't build on it. Is he going to be Adnan Januzaj? Came in for Manchester United, scored a wonder goal, and everybody said this guy is the future, but then didn't build on it. Or is it going to be Giovanni Dos Santos? There is a whole what's it called? Francis Jeffers, Jeremy Aladeri, who scored a hat-trick alongside Robbie Perez against Middlesbrough, and then didn't build on it. Or Nicholas Brentner, Lord Nicholas Brentner. He could go either ways. You understand what I'm saying? Now this is an opportunity for him to build. He's had some big game moments. He was at the World Cup. He was in goal against Croatia, remember. But I mean, he started out very well, and then eventually the demons of Uzoho showed up again in this game. Even though consider the goal of Scott McTominay, you can't blame him. Like he left his heart on the field. Now the question for Uzoho is, are you going to give us this performance on a regular basis? Because that's the same yardstick with which we judge people like Edward Mendy. We judge Jan Oblak over the years. We've judged David De Gea, Manuel Neuer, Thibaut Courtois, Kepa Arrizabalaga. Are you going to do that, or you're just going to perform like this, and then from this again go back to old Uzoho. Because while we're getting excited, why his Twitter following is rising, which is beautiful for him, now is the spotlight is on him. If he's going to put up this performance on a consistent basis and say this is the new Uzoho, it's good for Nigeria, it's good for him, because the eye of the world is on him now. Somebody's always going to say, where's that goalkeeper that came to Old Trafford and held everybody's spell bind and put everybody under his spell? That he was the Houdini, he was the Doctor Strange, he was, opening portals upon portals for the balls not to go into the net, and finally maybe the spell got broken. But he needs to have that spell game in, game out, even in smaller games, not just only when he's playing against Manchester United or, he's at Old Trafford. You can't have a spell for Old Trafford and then lose the spell for every other game. Consistency is what makes greatness. It is not one-off moment, because one-off moment, every human being in the world, even the dumbest person, have a one-off moment where they are super brilliant. But to now step up into the league of greatness, you have to put up that performance on a regular basis. And I expect right now that Francis Uzoho would command consistency, because it's shown us that he's got it in him. That performance didn't just come out of nowhere. A spirit didn't possess him to put up a performance where he made so amazing save. But then
due to the fact that he was playing against his boyhood team, it's Manchester United, I need to add extra, do something extra in goal and stuff like that.
That is. But then if he can have that performance, it means that he's got it in him. Because you won't put me in the stick against Arsenal, for instance. Arsenal is my boyhood club, it's a club that I love, and then all of a sudden I become a wonderful goalkeeper. I would chop up. They'll score 100 goals. Every shot that comes into the goal, unless the one I can stop on my leg, because I'm not a goalkeeper. But if you have it in you, and you can do it against Manchester United, against Cristiano Ronaldo, against all of these great players that you played against, and you put up such a performance that even you're on the losing side, but you're more celebrated than the team that won, then you need to now put up that performance on a regular basis, every week in, week out. I mean, go 10 games, get 9 good games and 1 bad game. You'll be forgiven. Don't come back after this now, and then when it's the Super Eagles game, you tell me, because I don't think that they give them special bonuses. I don't think that they pay them extra money to play that game. So you don't come to Nigeria and say, oh, it's because they're owing us money, they're not paying us well. No, you gotta go there and put up that same kind of performance and let everybody know you can have command of your goal area, you can command your defense, you can put everybody. Because let's be very, very honest, Pneumonia, Nicosia, whatever their name is, did not have quality players that we don't already have in the Super Eagles. Omonia Nicosia, Omonia Imbalance, whatever their name is, do not also put top quality players on that field that you say, okay, the players were so good, the players were doing this or doing that. Manchester United were running through those players every minute they had the ball. It's just that Uzoho stepped up and became that Greek god, that Indian god that have 6 arms. Okay, he should put up that performance on a regular basis, and then we'll say yes, that was the turning point of his career. But if he put up that performance and then after that go back to the slump guy that we know, the guy that is invisible in goal, the guy that is insipid and naive, then it just a scam that he scammed everybody to increase his Twitter followers, and some of the followers would also disappear eventually. But for me as a Nigerian, I think like good things are happening, big things are happening with Nigerian players. Osimhen can't stop scoring, coming off the bench to score goals. I mean, people say Rhapsody of Reality will stop him from playing. It doesn't look like Rhapsody of Reality is really stopping him from playing, because the reality that he comes in and he bangs in the goal. Uzoho showed at Old Trafford that is really, really the theatre of dream for him, not for the Manchester United players. And what's this other guy that is banging goals and playing very well? Calvin Bassey, even though when they lose, you still see his contribution, creating goals and really, really playing well. Where he's Alex Iwobi is, a gem in his state. Terry Murphy is scoring goals even when he got injured and was substituted. We saw how angry he was because he knew he was on a roll. So Nigerian players are on the rise. Okay. I just want to see that continue over a period of time. Yes, we're not going to the World Cup, but we can clean the tears off the eyes of the Nigerian fans with a Nations Cup win and a command performance that makes Africa say, whoa, the boys are back in town.
All right, Bernard, do you think he's going to get a move? He needs to move away from Cyprus if he wants to, let the world see what he can do. Now, he's gotten that performance. And do you think this performance against Manchester United can see him get a move away from Cyprus to maybe a decent club out there in Europe?
Moves are not just something that just happen because they like you. The lot of consideration are put in there, what you have to offer, how long are you going to play, who's there before you. But overall, Manchester United performance was good. I don't know what Paul Scholes was saying about. There was only one intriguing or important save in that entire game. Really, really angry when he said that. But a move entirely, me personally, he needs to move. First of all, a higher salary, more fan base, and more so to play in a more competitive. I'm not saying Cyprus is not competitive, but
They're not.
It's not really. It's at his team. Even Omonia are one of the biggest teams in Cyprus.
They are.
They are currently seventh, in the standings now in the league. So even though they have a manager, Neil Lennon, who's won the league in Scotland with Celtic, he just needs to move away from Cyprus.
sincerely.
Just needs to move away, and I think he's the undisputed number one now for the Super Eagles.
Yeah.
I think nobody's going to argue that. A lot of people prefer Uzoho to Maduka. I don't know. Do you think of that?
I was not a Francis Uzoho fan before this. I was always Maduka Okoye, but this performance can just change my mind a bit.
He's not a Francis Uzoho fan, but I think he's been converted.
All right, for Francis Uzoho, I mean, we hope he, this performance just produce better things for him in the future. The January transfer window is not far away. I want to predict here that I think he's going to get a move in January, maybe to a decent team right there. Sure, you can bring back this video in January.
Are they out of the Europa competition? They're still there, right?
Yeah, they're still there. They still have the group games to go. So
let's wait for
group,
some of the games that he would stay and go for and see how it goes.
You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio.